Hi. Don't mind me, I'm eating some ice cream. No, it wasn't all full. I'm just finishing what's here. I stayed home sick today. It's New York style cheesecake. Strawberry. I had a really bad episode with Dairy Queen a while back. Bad angles, wrinkles, yuck. Had a bad experience with Dairy Queen back in December, trying to get my kid an ice cream cake. Anyway, they have the best cheesecake blizzard, but I won't go to that one over there. Over there, I won't go. It's good stuff though. I needed it. Don't ask me what was wrong with me today other than I was dizzy and I couldn't wake up. It's like my whole equilibrium was off. The humidity, although today wasn't bad, only at 86%. Yesterday at work, working outside on the patio, I get so angry with customers. What the hell are you people all thinking? It's hot. Go eat in air conditioning. Go find ice cream somewhere. But yesterday is what did it. Just didn't feel good today. Kid's car's broke again. It's back in the shop. I did run him to work. I don't know if I have to pick him up or not. He said he'd text me and let me know. What'd you have for supper? What'd you make? What's your favorite ice cream? I got 3 of the dogs. I had to put sugar in her crate. It's been raining on and off. It's not an allergy thing that I'm feeling today. I just think the humidity's finally gotten to me. I'm so intolerant to weather. It makes me angry. But in all of your life's choices, what were you thinking? Why would you do that? Are you any better because of that? Has your life improved because of that? I got both the girls here looking at me like, what are you doing, Mom? When I'm teaching my vision board class, I always talk about benefits and consequences. And that chain of events that get that ball rolling, often in a direction you don't want it to go in. But because you were angry or impetuous and thought you were doing the right thing at the right time. So really, how's that all working for you? What were you thinking? What did you think? What result would come from that choice that you made? I can wait. I swear, if I hear one more tarot card reader, I think I'm going to lose my mind. I will go into work tomorrow very reluctantly. It's kind of like I'm waiting to just pass out on the floor. That will be my final telltale. It's time to go. Yesterday I made a whopping $25. Boy, it was so worth it. Tolerating all that heat. Plus the air conditioner's out in the front of the house. Not this house, the workhouse. The forever search of, okay, what's next? Where am I going? What am I doing? How am I doing it? I got 6 months till I teach these classes. And I know I left out the part where they offered me the job at the community college, the continuing education. I was kind of holding on to it because I'm waiting for them to send me their outline so I can give them a syllabus. But it doesn't take place till January. I need to do something now to leave the restaurant. And then I have to work around those 3 days teaching because it's only 2 and 3 hours a day. It's like, what else can I juggle? What else? I did pick up a brand ambassador job. So, new company, in-person demoing, sampling, educating and influencing. I'm bound and determined I'm going to eat all this. I don't need it, but I'm going to eat it. I don't need it, but I'm going to eat it. I want it. Anyway, new company. I'll be doing demos throughout St. Louis. It'll get me out of my house. It pays extremely well. But it's only here and there. It's not anything steady. Did you know, or have you been following, the story Good Morning America did 2 weeks ago on the average teenager makes $21 an hour? Where do I laugh? What microphone? They so misreported on that whole story, stating the average teenager who works a minimum wage job makes $21 an hour. Lie. What do you call that in journalism? False reporting? Baiting something? Now, here in St. Louis, Missouri, minimum wage is just about at, I think, $15. The restaurant industry, bartending in this area, pays $7.50 an hour. And you're supposed to be able to make 3 times that amount in tips per hour. So 3 times 7 is 21 ish. I'm not doing any of that. Not at all. $25 yesterday with $7.50 an hour. And you want to know why I want to leave the restaurant industry? I'm watching the dogs. Hank, leave Sophie alone. Get a toy or lay down. Anyway, the average job here in St. Louis, minimum wage, $15. Restaurant, $7.50. Did you know that, I want to make sure I'm reporting this correctly, 73,000 people opted to get out of the workforce because unemployment is, so they say, 4.3%, but it's really like 8.2%. And it has been discovered that all, if not most, jobs on Indeed, LinkedIn, what's the other one? Snap Guard, Garage something, are all false. They're all listing jobs that they have these companies are not going to fill. So unless you're a, lawyer, doctor, Indian chief, teacher, which I'm trying to lean back into that field. Well, hello, Sylvie. No, you can't have my ice cream. I'm kind of SOL right now. Oh, of course, if you work in public works and you have a city whose infrastructure is falling apart, there's job security. Now I got this one. That's Lola. What are you guys doing? Oh, you can be a fireman. Are you in shape to be a fireman? You don't want to be a policeman here in St. Louis. You don't. What did I see in Spanish Lake, which is down 270 going north? There was a pool party where 100 teens just, out of nowhere showed up. 100 of them. 4th of July. It ensued chaos and mayhem. That's kind of like what St. Louis is in general. Whoa. Dogs out there. Where, Lola? Lola, come. Here, Loli. Here. Stop. That dog alone. Tease her a little bit. You can see in the mirror. They're all gonna hold on. Anyway, my point being, the job market here in St. Louis isn't all that great, but it's not all that great across the board in all the other states either. And all of these teens that keep trying to take over where they need to be working, need to be doing something constructive instead of destructive. There are no jobs for them. I know in the restaurant that I lend my hand, we're so short-staffed, but there's not enough money to hire anybody. And when you don't have a client base, a customer base, what do you do? What do you do? How much do you make? You guys are something else. We're all done. Hold on again. Alright, let's try it again. How much do you make? Can you afford life right now? And if you were going to change jobs or lean into something else, what would you do? And how would you do it? And what would that do to you mentally and physically? And if you know you can't physically do your job that you're doing now, not making the money that you need to do, what are the options? What are your options? And are you really paying attention to what the job market is in your area? And if you look at your own company, who you're working for, how many jobs do you actually have? Unless, of course, again, with the, infrastructure, something's always falling apart and But does your your municipality have the money to fix it and pay for it? The mayor is sitting on a whole bunch of Rams money that she's supposedly, allocating. Her big thing right now is still trying to merge county and city. She needs to focus on something else. I'm sure she's a lovely human, but she really needs to focus on other things. What jobs are being created with your skill set? I've always taught art. I can write books. I can, talk a pretty speech. Till somebody wants to take a class, it's all kind of mute, to educate, to influence, to inspire. That's the goal. Be able to afford life as I know it. I mean, if I stop and I think about it, I'm not doing anything. I go to work, I come home, and I typically sit in this chair and either stare out the door or scroll on my phone, mess with the dogs, mess with my garden. I put $15 of gas in my car today. Got me up to about 3/4. Gas is coming down a little bit. Excuse me. But when you think about in the scheme of all things, are you paying attention to economics in your area and how life in itself is impacting the way that you work? Hank, you're going to fall down. Who's he going to fall down? Yeah. I don't have you close enough. Look at her. She's trying to sit in my lap. Can you see her in the mirror? But how is the job force impacting the company that you work for? And what is the dollar amount that they are paying new hirees? And what is the amount that if you do switch jobs and you go into a whole other field, what's your dollar amount? I want $30 an hour. I am worth, my skill set is worth $30 an hour. Hi, boozy girl. Hi, boozy. Being offered this position at the continuing education, they're paying me $25 an hour. It's not bad. By far successes, what's the word I'm looking for? The $7.50 that I'm making at the restaurant. Now, mind you, I've always had my hand in food and beverage, but I've always done a million other things. Always. It's the entrepreneur in me. I'm trying to pay attention to outside sources so I know how to act accordingly. I had a realtor reach out to me the other day. Did I tell you this story? I know I'm like hardly online lately. It's a lot. It takes a lot out of me to come online. But anyway, last year, I think about this time, I was looking at a house in Bloomsdale in St. Genevieve County. It was ideal for me. It was a farmhouse. Didn't have a wraparound porch, but it had a flat front porch. Cute little neighborhood. Backyard was beautiful. It was about 2 acres. 2-story. Had a little breezeway. Had a back room that went out into the yard. Had already a chicken coop out there. It was beautiful. And it wasn't all that much. It was in the $230, $240 range, which would be about what I'd want to spend, I think, at this point, if life ever evens out. Anyway, I had made contact with them a year ago, and even back then, a year ago, I was trying to decide with the restaurant, which way am I going? How am I doing this? How am I going to afford this life? Life, 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 and all that it hands you when you don't want lemons and you don't like lemonade. But anyway, the same realtor reached out to me, I don't know, the other day. And he said, Kitryn, it's blah, blah, blah from blah, blah, blah group. Came across your information again, just wanted to see if you were any closer to making that decision to move. We see you have all this equity in your house. Yeah, I do. I have all kinds of equity in this house. But it's the income that is not stable. I've been going with my oldest to look at houses because he's still trying to, find something. But with the job market not being so steady, stable, providing the income that we all need, in order to live. Hi, pretty girl. Hi, Mama Boozy. Hi, Boozy girl. How do you make that jump? Knowing what you have invested in your house, how do you make that jump to go elsewhere when you know the job market is not conducive to the way that you want to live? So when Good Morning America was reporting that teenagers were making $21 an hour, there's somebody over on the TikTok that's been calling them out on it, and they won't respond, they won't retract, because that's a lie. It's an absolute lie. The job that I have now at the restaurant, I was in between jobs. I was working 3 different jobs at that time, just trying to make ends meet, and I could not make ends meet with 3 different jobs. I was working 6 days a week, pretty much making myself sick. And I went into this restaurant where I lent my hand, and I literally had begged them for the job, not realizing that just 2 years later, doing the job was going to become not conducive to the body and to the age. Bad shoulder, can't carry a tray, a multitude of things. The restaurant industry has changed in itself. It has become a more physical type job where my body just can't keep up anymore. Hence why I'm looking into other things. But I'm asking you, in your current situation, what do you do? How do you write it out? How do you know you're not going to be replaced by a conglomerate of somebody else, another group coming in to, subcontract whatever you do? How do you know AI is not going to take your job? If AI wants my restaurant job, have at it. But what can you do with your skill set, and how better can it be for you to work smarter and not harder and still earn that amount of money that you need to make in order to survive? I keep looking at my Social Security. It's not doable. It's just not doable. And then you take your Social Security early, and you're only allowed to work, only allowed to make a certain amount of money up until whatever your full retirement is. Full retirement for me is 67. So I can't make over, this year it was 20, you can't make over 26,000. So, okay, well, who lives on that? Last year I went over that. This year will I go over that? No, I won't. But I still don't want to take my Social Security, because then that hinders me. Where, what if something is offered to me? What if that $30 an hour comes to me, 4 or 5 days a week, 6 hours a day? That's going to put me way over that. Do you think about that in the long term? Do you think about those type of scenarios and situations and the choices that you have to mentally take knowing it's going to affect, because I think that's probably why I got sick today too. All this has been on my mind, trying to veer out of where I am into something else, trying to figure out how money is going to work. You know, I can promote and I can talk and I can paint all kinds of pretty little pictures and paintings, but the bottom line is, how are we surviving on what we are earning, and where else can we go to do better for our lives, no matter what your age is? Do you continue to work your job till you just fall out? Is that what it's coming down to? You've done it for so long, you're like, this is it, I know I'm miserable, I'm not going to make any other choices. I don't know, I want to know. I want to know how life is working for you with all of those choices that you have made. Are you better off because of it? Are you? What were you thinking at that time? How is it benefiting you now? Who or what are you relying on to get you through to the next phase? And what's it going to really, really take for you to open your eyes to the reality of all the things that you have chose up to this point in your life? Whether it be your work, your occupation, how you earn your money, where you choose to live, who you choose to associate with, how you earn your dollar. Yeah, I think I said in a couple of videos before, I can promise you there are tradesmen out there right now who have just upped all their licensing, ready to go with all those $100,000 worth of tools in their vehicles, and they're sitting on their hands because there are no jobs. There's nothing shaking in the realm other than the infrastructure that is destroying your city. Hope all that made sense to you. Took a lot for me to come on tonight knowing I didn't feel good and I'm in this really weird kind of zone. But I'm Kitryn Marie. I do reside in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an artist, writer, speaker, life and business coach. Teach a variety of art and communication classes. Published author When He Had Her. Available on Amazon. Just kind of laying low tonight knowing I got to go into that restaurant tomorrow. But then I'm off a couple days and hopefully whatever it is that is affecting me physically, I can get myself back to the whole version that I like to be, because right now I'm not whole at all. A lot of missing things going in the circumference of my world, and I'm hoping at one point everything just kind of clicks. But I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email, kitrynmarie@gmail.com. If you want to know all about the things that I teach, go over to my website, kitryn-marie.weebly.com. For today, for tomorrow, be happy, be blessed, be thankful for everything. Remember, fate turns on a dime, and it is up to you to decide what side of that coin you want to be on. But y'all take care, and I'll see you real soon.